All right, so the second research method we're looking at here in technology and cognition is correlational studies. Now, in the textbook, they're called longitudinal. The textbook was published before it was clarified that the IB is not going to accept longitudinal studies as a quote-unquote research method. This is a big, long debate that I won't rant on about right now, the preposterous nature of how we're classifying and considering what is and is not a research method. But anyway, what I've tried to, as much as possible, focus on the correlational nature of these longitudinal studies, because they should, while they're longitudinal, but they should talk about the correlational nature first in their exams. So if we look over here in our textbook, we are getting into page 430. All right, so again, all the answers here are in the textbook. So the definition of longitudinal study, a couple of examples explaining how and why, right? Everything's here, including, and this is the summary of the TED Talk that I recommend watching in this lesson. All right, come back here. All right, so we're going to look at correlational studies. I like coming back to this because it's a good reminder, right? We have to go through research methods throughout the course. Excuse me. I get a text message about once every month on my flip phone, and lo and behold, I turn off all my notifications and I get a text message. All right, anyway, how and why are longitudinal studies used? You can influence the correlational nature of those. Right, quizzes. There's a quizzes here. There's also in the assessment files a quizzes printed out as a hard copy version if you wanted to do that as well as a quiz or a test. This is really interesting. I love being able to, I just like these videos, 12 minutes, and linking in, bringing in these videos. Like I'm excited to show my students this. It's fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to this unit. Anyway, sorry, this is a Harvard study, longitudinal study, and see if they can define a longitudinal study. Now, it's a study that's conducted over a long period of time. I mean, that's essentially what a longitudinal study is. They should be able to define that. More tricky is a correlational study. All right. Now, this is pretty tricky. This is going to be a really difficult question. So what are the benefits of using a longitudinal study compared to using a true experiment? And then trying to get them to think about Christakis et al. That was the longitudinal study of TV. So you might even compare, actually, and I might add this here, think of it comparing Christakis et al. With Lillard and Peterson, right? What are the benefits of using either or in that particular context of the effects of TV on working memory? Now, to be honest with you, I had a hard time coming up with an exciting way of teaching correlational studies in this particular unit, and because there's not a whole heap. There's Christakis et al. And in the revision book there might be another couple. So what I thought would be a good use of time would be a scaffolded essay writing practice. And so what they've got here, this is in the activities files, and it's just the checkbox here. Feel free to adapt this and amend this if you like. This is what I think they should do to write an excellent essay. Okay, and so they just check these things off as they do them. Okay, they can even, as much as possible, I get students to work together on this. There is a example. There's an example scaffolded essay, and I think I did it for this particular question, maybe. And there are 2 example essays in this teacher support pack, so check those out in the files. But yeah, and then they won't get a chance to finish this in class, and so again, that might be a formative task that you submit as practice before your summative assessment. All right, exit ticket. Since it's the last content lesson of the course, I used to think, now I think, and hopefully they're going to reflect on something about the nature of the influence of technology on cognition. All right, the next lesson we're going to do is just a review.